Okay, here, we've implemented loan origination using Maestro Case. This is the case plan in Maestro. It's a new canvas. It's purpose-built for the dynamic, exception-driven work that is actually done in your enterprise. It's not just straight-line BPMN, as we were seeing just in those slides. Here you can see the case manager on top. Below it, the case is organized into stages with tasks under each of these. These tasks can be agents, API workflows, RPA, BPM, and external agents. Really, this is, again, it's powered by Maestro. Anything you could do in Maestro BPMN, you could do it here. What I'd also like to point out is that after the intake stage, we don't have any arrows in this diagram. Each stage is activated based off of what the case manager decides, either via rules or agent reasoning, as we saw. Okay, let me call your attention to a couple cases that are going to help illustrate this point. First, rework. Let me first see that the sanction screening here ran twice. Let's open up the execution trail and see why that happened. So we can see with the case agent, it always gives its rationale for why it made that particular decision. So you can see that it invoked a rule that required more information. This interrupted the flow and sent it over to a pending with customer. So the customer needed to provide more document requests. They went through that flow, and then we went back into intake. It went right back into sanction screening, and then completed the intake process. That's rework right there. Okay, second, we have underwriting and escalation both running in parallel here. Looking at the trace, we can see why that is. So we can see that the escalation got entered because the agent reasoned that a medium risk loan ought to go to a manager for approval, but it should also proceed to underwriting because it's not a high risk. That means that the task can cross boundaries and activate multiple stages at once. That's the dynamism we're talking about. Parallel work, re-entering stages, escalations, ad hoc stages, all without losing continuity.
Man, I'm really impressed that this bank has taken the effort to really orchestrate the loan process end to end. How does this impact the life of the loan officers that work in this bank?
Well, I'm excited to say that we have something great for them too. So you'll notice that we actually have a task that's waiting on a loan officer to review. So Maestro Case has support to automatically generate case applications for business users via coded apps now. Here you can see a UiPath coded app that's wired up to our case data via the TypeScript SDK hosted on UiPath. This is going to give you a 360 view of your case, all the data, all the documents, and the history and the activity that the agent decided as it was going through the process. This can really help transform work for the business user so that they can focus on cases that actually need human attention. And really, if anything's unclear, I can just ask the conversational agent. But okay, let's go ahead and approve this so that the case moves forward into the next step, and then we'll crack into Maestro and see it running.
Let's look at that expansive case plan. How long did this take you to build? How many weeks did you spend, Tyler?
Well, as you know, it's 2026. Everything I do on the UiPath platform is with coding agents. Now with UiPath skills and using Claude Code, I was able to build this out using an SDD, which defines my case end to end. And then I iterated over the last few days to build the case plan and that coding app that we just saw. And about the case agent, the coding app built this too. So you have rules for what can be deterministic, and you have agent for what needs judgment.
Thank you, Taylor.